Hey everyone, I'm Budget Nerd. Studies show dash cams are one of the most requested things to have in new cars. If you don't get one from the factory, you can always add one. Starting to wind down the summer of reviews on my channel, we'll look at such a dash cam, the Vantrue N4. It comes in at $260 or $230 if you use the coupon. There certainly are cheaper options out there, so I'm going to expect a lot out of this dash cam system. Let's take a look. The Vantrue dashcam has 3 cameras, front, inside, and rear. Their resolutions are 1080p, except for the front, which is 1440p. Hooking up the rear is optional, but if you're getting this camera kit, then you'll probably want to do it. If you only use the front camera, it can record at 1520p. That's a lot of P's. By the way, these cameras all record at 30 frames per second. Let's see what you get for your monies. It's all packed in here pretty tightly. In here are most likely instructions, manuals, that sort of thing. In here you see the main camera. It feels well built. Screen is not touchscreen, despite my brain insisting it was. The cabin camera is surrounded by 4 IR LEDs to help with night vision. On the top you get buttons to control it, and here is the front camera. Here are the documents. In here you get the cable for the rear camera, and the rear camera with sticky things. You're able to rotate it up and down, and that's it. Next you get another box in a box, and this box contains a USB-C cable and the suction cup mount. Lastly, you get the cigarette power adapter. This sort of car camera can be a good option if you don't want your rear mirror being taken over. It's pretty small, considering, and can be mounted in an inconspicuous place, under your rear mirror, or wherever you want, really. Centered in under your rear mirror is a good spot, though. There have been reports saying the suction cup would fall when the car got hot in the summer, but this never happened to me. Before we hook it up, let's install the micro SD card. It will accept up to 256 gigabytes. This HD out port is for hooking it up to a TV or anything that will accept HDMI input to view your videos. Hooking it all up is pretty easy, unless you're dumb like me. Turns out you need to rotate this to really get this thing to create a vacuum and stay. Once I figured that out, it stayed in place well. Next, run your power cable from the camera mount plug to the cigarette lighter in your car. You can hide the cables as desired. They also have a $16 kit to hardwire it, which is pretty nice if you're like me and hate having a cigarette lighter power adapter always staring you in the face, or want 24-hour surveillance from this thing and your cigarette lighter only turns on when your car is on. Their hardwire kit has a low voltage cutoff, so you wouldn't drain your battery. You could just use the cigarette lighter the whole time, but it will pull anywhere from 1200 to 2000 milliamps per hour, and you could drain your battery. Alternatively, you could just use an OBD adapter for power, but that too could still kill your battery if left sitting too long. Moving on, if you want to hook up the rear, I found it easiest to plug it in so I could see what it was seeing before I mounted it. If you mount it upside down or had to do it this way, you could flip the image in the settings. These sticky things are pretty sticky, so get it right the first time. Now just route this cable as desired. I may not leave this in my car, so I'm not going super crazy with the cable routing. Keep in mind, none of this is weatherproof, so it all should be installed inside of your car. The rear and cabin cameras are both pretty wide angle at 160 and 165 degrees and really do capture quite a lot. Like most of these cameras, collision or bumps will trigger a recording that can't be overwritten. If the car is off and the camera is getting no power, it won't do anything though. If you want it to capture stuff while parked, or when the car wouldn't normally supply power, you'll want the hardwire kit I mentioned before. There is no built-in battery. Speaking of another add-on, there is also a suction cup base for $22 that has built-in GPS. I didn't get one for testing, but sounds neat. It will let you check vehicle speed, location, and route on a map through Vantrue's app. The app only shows GPS info and works with this GPS base. You can't use the app to view recordings, stream from your camera, or anything else. There's no cloud option either, nor any connectivity option to this camera like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which are all bummers. Now that it's installed, let's mess with it. The screen gives you a lot of good info, such as recording length, time and date, resolution settings for the cameras, and whatever these mean. You can see it shows all three cameras on the screen, and you can cycle which one is shown full screen with one of the buttons on the top. It's not super intuitive what each button does, and you usually won't be able to see the buttons from where it's mounted, so it's a bit of a learning curve to figure out. But when in the menu, it will show you what each button does, and that really helps. Plus, the manual is very good. Lots of full-color pages of info, one of the better manuals I've seen in a while. You can lock a recording, start or stop recordings, and in the menu, you can adjust recording options like resolution, recording length, manually turn the infrared LEDs on or off, or leave them on auto, adjust the sensor, turn on or off the collision and motion detection, change the exposure, disable wide dynamic range, enter in your license plate info, rotate the display, and enable time-lapse, which will lower the frame rate to save space. Under the system setup, you can change the language, format the SD card, adjust date and time, change the settings for the screen timeout, among other things. Under Files, you can review footage. Of course, you can always pull out the SD card and view them on a PC as well, and those are your only options, unless you want to use the HD out. The screen looks nice, but with polarized glasses, you might have a tough time seeing the image. Of course, that's not a huge deal. You wouldn't be watching this while driving, but do keep that in mind. Should you use the cigarette adapter it comes with, there is a secret USB port behind the little cap that you can rotate. Neat. But something I really didn't like about this adapter was the blue light. It's cool, unless you have to drive at night, and then you're blinded by the light of 1,000 stars. Sometimes I wonder if it's slowly giving me a sunburn. Well, let's change gears and check out some footage and see what the microphone sounds like. This will serve as a good test to see what the audio sounds like. Right now, obviously, I'm not moving. Based on this line of cars, I might not be moving for a while. Okay, here we go. Alright, accelerating onto the street. Accelerating it mildly aggressively in the Stang. You tell me, how does the audio sound? I'm talking in a normal voice, at a normal volume, going down the road at, about 40 miles an hour. There seems to be some sort of rattle this thing has that does get picked up in the audio, but it's minor. There are a few clips where the audio was not in sync. Yeah, it's silly. Well, and the silly thing about it, too, was I'm in a stoplight now. Not a huge deal. You get the audio, and if you needed the clip for some reason, you'd have it, but it was annoying to find the occasional clip like this. Overall, the audio is pretty good. The footage at night is good, but I believe it's only the inside camera that has true night vision. The inside camera switches back and forth quickly when needed. As you can see, all the videos are timestamped with data, and you can adjust what is stamped on the videos in the settings. So let's wrap this thing up with a verdict. I think this camera's great. It's built well, looks good, takes good video, has a good microphone, and the 3-camera system is nice. For the price, though, there are a few things missing. No connectivity like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and no app support for its basic functions. And at no time ever has any family been this happy during a road trip. The biggest issue for me is no recording without constant power. Some dash cameras have built-in batteries to allow it to kick on and record at least a little bit with the car being off or not providing power. You're covered if you get into an accident while on the move, But all the other times, you'll need it when the car is broken into or vandalized or whatever the case might be. When you're not near it, you're hosed. There are options to always provide power, but if you're not careful, you could kill the battery. Their hardwire kit is a great option, but it's a separate thing and it's more money. If they added the hardwire kit in at no cost, this wouldn't be a complaint. I fully expected this to have this feature out of the box. So, do I recommend it? Perhaps. If you only want recording while driving and it ticks all the rest of your boxes, then sure. But if you want recording while your car isn't in use, you have to spend more money with adapters that could kill your battery or buy their hardwire kit. I would assume most people would fall into this latter category, and for me, at this price, it's a hard sell when it's missing this feature. At this point, you be the judge. Throw around your 2 cents in the comment if something like this would work for you. Thanks for watching.